Welcome to Simply Happy Conversations, a podcast that teaches you how to create a clutter-free, functional and simply happy life. I'm Narelle King, a professional organiser who supports families with practical steps to simplify their life and create a more organised home. I'm passionate about supporting neurodivergent families and individuals like myself. What are some common challenges your kids face when returning to school? Maybe it's separation anxiety, adapting to routines, time management. In today's solo episode, I'll be sharing 6 ideas to help you get organised and prepared so that your kids can transition more smoothly to the new year. Feeling prepared does make it easier to cope with the extra challenges that your kids might face. Let's jump into this Simply Happy conversation. Thanks for joining me for today's solo episode to help you get organised for the return to school. I'm going to be talking about 6 ideas to help you and your kids transition more smoothly back to school. So when we feel more prepared, it means we can actually help our children deal with the challenges that may arise. So there's probably 6 common challenges that kids will face when they're returning back to school. So the first one would be separation anxiety. Younger children, even teens that are maybe starting at a new school or starting in Year 7, a particular change can then trigger that feelings of anxiety about being away from caregivers or parents or people who they feel really safe and secure with. The next challenge might be social dynamics. So they might be trying to navigate friendships and social interactions, and these can be really tough, especially if they're moving to a new school or they've had a really long break. The next common challenge is adapting to routine. I can already see this with my own kids. They've got into the routine of sleeping in now that they're teenagers, and I know it's going to be really difficult for them to get back into that routine in the morning. So we'll probably look at starting that a week before because, it's been a really relaxed summer schedule for them. There's actually less structure when we don't have school. The other challenge that they may face when returning to school is time management. They may struggle with balancing like schoolwork, and then they start the extracurricular activities, maybe it's sports, and just finding that downtime as well, whereas they've had that long break. So by being proactive and organised, this can really help you ease your kids into that transition back to school. It just helps them to feel more confident and supported as well. Demonstrating that organisation and resilience in your own life is going to help your kids and help them to then maybe even adapt similar habits to yourself. So I'm going to share 6 different ideas to help you get organised for the return to school. So number 1 is prepare for school supplies. We have a container that has all our stationery, and I have some magazine holders that actually store some of the books that we have spare and folders as well. And last year I looked at the book list into the new year in 2024, and then I had to put the things that we had already in their bags and then go over the book list and get the things we needed. Whereas this year I was a little bit more organised, and I did it before Christmas, and the kids actually helped me this time. And just because they're more familiar with what they're going to use and what they're not going to use, they were able to help me work out from their book list, and we were able to put it in before Christmas. It's already arrived and it's all in their bag ready to go. For me, the biggest thing I found was having the kids involved in this because they know what they need and what they don't need. The other option, if you don't have a book list like we did, where we send it off to the place that provides stationery and sends it direct to our house, is you could go to a stationery supply place. Like here in Australia, we have Officeworks. You can hand that book list in, they'll fill it, and then you just go in and pick it up from them. The second thing to help you prepare the return of school is having a command centre. So this is a way of displaying, say, the calendar, maybe it's meals, maybe it's activities, and any other notices that you want the whole family to be able to see and go to and be able to find really easily. Ours has things like the school schedule. Once the kids find out classes they have, we print it out and that's a spot for them to go and look at it. We also have a family calendar, which is digital. Our planner is like a whiteboard, and I can just use now a whiteboard marker because my kids can read. But when they were younger, it had pictures. It was visual instead. Number 3 is visual routines and reminders. And now these are 2 different things. The visual routine are the actions or tasks that need to be done before going to bed or in the morning or when they get home from school. Whereas reminders are checklists of things that they need to take with them. So we'll start with visual routines. When my kids were younger, I would take photos of them doing the actions, or also I have done it with photos of a favorite toy. I've also done this with some of my clients with their favorite toy doing the actual activity or the task. I've also done stop motion videos of a client doing the actual actions, and then we put it together so she could watch it in the morning to make sure that she knew what she had to do. It's a really fun way for younger children to complete their tasks and gain independence. For me, I used to be able to see what they were up to, so I wouldn't actually have to say, have you done this? Have you done that? I could actually just visually look and see what they were up to, and this just gave them a bit more independence. Some examples of visual routines, say the night before, would be to check the schedule. Have they got their clothes ready for school, including like their hat? A morning routine might be eat breakfast, get dressed, pack lunch, drink bottle, make bed, brush and do hair, and brush your teeth. And the third area might be after school routines, like putting their shoes away, putting their lunchbox on the sink, emptying their bag of notes and work that they maybe brought home, putting their bag away, changing out of their uniform. I just wanted to highlight also using declarative language. It's a comment or a statement. It's not a question. And this is really useful at empowering kids to be competent and develop awareness. And it'll also help with those children who need their own autonomy. So instead of saying to them, have you packed your bag? It would be instead, I think you might need your bag today at school. Or I wonder where your hat is. I think you'll need shoes and school uniform today. Let's have breakfast. These are just a couple of examples of declarative language rather than using the questions that may then have pushback instead. Now, the other part was checklists, which are things you might need to take with you to school. These could be little tags that you place on your kids' school bag, which I did when my kids were younger. Now we just have a checklist at the front door. They're just written there as a reminder as they leave. It could even be for a teen, it could be on a smart device like a Google Home or an Amazon Alexa, and it's activated by their voice. Number 4 is lunchboxes. There's a few things to consider when we're sorting out lunchboxes and drink bottles. You need to decide what lunchbox or drink bottle will suit your child's need. What do they eat for lunch? Do they need a bento box? Do they need a thermos? Do they have sandwiches? How much water do they need to take? Do they have access to taps? So those questions are going to help you identify what type of lunchbox and drink bottle your child, teen, is going to need. So we store our lunchboxes and drink bottles in one drawer, and it just means that they're all together. There's a little container that has all the lids of the drink bottles, and we also have a couple of bento box cleaning brushes, which are great to use to get the crumbs out of the lunch boxes. I'll also share a link to that brush in the show notes. Another thing to consider is also helping you save time is preparing maybe some healthy lunchbox snacks prior to the school year starting. You may be able to freeze these items. Things that have worked really well for me are like homemade muffins, biscuits, bliss balls, and muesli bars, and we've just had them in the freezer and then just grab out a few of them to defrost. Number 5 is uniforms and shoes. So getting all the uniforms out and getting your kids to try on at least one top, shorts, pants, skirt, or dress, and then writing the size. I have this on my phone in my notes, and when I'm out shopping, I just have to refer to that and I have it with me. Maybe you're lucky enough to have like a second-hand uniform shop or online place. For us, our school's quite new, so there's not a lot of second-hand uniforms at the moment. It's pretty much brand new. Also consider how often you're going to be washing. Are you doing it once a week? Do they stay at another parent or caregiver's house? How many tops or socks do you need? Is it one for every day because you're only able to wash once a week? Or is it you're washing in the middle of the week so they could get away with 3? Also, try on shoes, socks, hats. If your kids go to a school in Australia, they're very strict about wearing hats in summertime. If they don't have hats, there's no play. So you don't want your kids going back to to school and they actually have to sit in the shade because they don't have their hat with them. When my kids were younger, I stored their shoes at the front door in this cupboard, and we also had a spot for their socks. So a central spot for all shoes and socks just makes it easier for everybody in the family. And then also looking at what's going to be the best way to store the uniforms for your child. Is it going to be in a drawer? Is it hanging? Is it in like a cube? What do they need to be folded, or could it just be put in a cube altogether? And are we trying to build independence for that child to actually go and select their clothes in the morning and know what to wear? Maybe that's down the track. We just need a place for the clothes to go because you're still helping them by getting the actual clothes out in the morning. And number 6, our final area, is a system for schoolwork. So setting up like a dedicated, organized space for homework that's free of distractions, obviously TV. Establishing a time that will work for your child. So for my son, he was a morning person. He'd get up early and that was the best time to get him to do his homework. Whereas my daughter is more a night owl, and she also really likes doing it on a Sunday on the weekend as well, when her brain's fresh and she's not so exhausted. Also think about a system and a place to display work, which comes in from school, in particular in the younger years in primary school. It just makes the decluttering process easier. We used to have our schoolwork was displayed on the fridge for a week, and then at the end of the week on the Sunday, I would move everything off the fridge door and it would go into their bedrooms on a pin board. So they had a pin board each in their room. And then at the end of the month or term, usually, I would go in and they would decide what they wanted to keep from the pin board and what could go in the recycling. So visiting it quite regularly helped to actually move it on, as well as the fact that we displayed it and we talked about it, and it was on display in the kitchen and then it was on display in their bedroom. Decrease their attachment to the work over time. I find that if kids have also had a chance to display it at school, they're probably even less likely to then want to take it home and keep it for a long period of time. I hope these 6 ideas to return back to school will help you and your kids return to school smoothly. Remember, even the best routines take time, and not every school morning will be easy. Believe me, I know. Feeling prepared, though, does make it easier. If you found these ideas useful, please share with a friend who might find them useful, and let me know in the review which idea you will be implementing in 2025 to transition back to school smoothly. Thanks for listening to Simply Happy Conversations. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Simply Happy Conversation. If you find yourself wasting precious time searching for misplaced items and wishing for a more organized life, then you need my 5-minute declutter ebook, the ultimate guide to quick and easy organizing solutions for a clutter-free and happy home. Forget about spending months KonMariing your house. These fun solutions are designed to give you immediate results in under 5 minutes. Head over to Simply Happy in the resource section and download your free copy and start seeing results in minutes. I'd like to acknowledge the Wathaurong people of the Kulin Nation on which this podcast is recorded as the traditional custodians of the land. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging.